Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is November 9th, Saturday.
What is that? It's post-Sabbath Momentum Monday today. Oh, you should close your blind behind you. The glare is pretty bad.
I don't think I can close it more than that. It's closed.
You got a problem with your landlord, buddy.
Yeah, I'm moving anyway in a few weeks. So
You're moving?
yeah.
Where are you moving?
Somewhere else in San Diego.
You're not willing to share your address on
No.
Momentum Monday. So, all right, I'm in Jerusalem. I've been in San Diego. It's 1 a.m. here. It's probably it's like 4 in the afternoon there. What is it?
At 3 p.m.
3 p.m. And let's hit it, buddy. You've been the hot hand, so I'm going to leave it to you. Walk us through what's going on.
All right, let me share my screen. So another new all-time high on the S&P 500. And one thing that I'm sorry.
Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, another new all-time highs for the large caps for the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100, and also Russell 2000, which is small cap. It is consolidating near that 160 level, which has been a major resistance area for quite some time. And as you can see, last week it approached that 160 area, it pulled back, and it found support right where it had to, near 158, which tells me that deep buyers are now in control. I cannot hear you, Howard. What did you say?
Can you take a look at the monthly on that one?
This is the monthly. So 160 is an important level. So my thoughts are that it'll kind of base here around 160 for maybe a week or two or more, and then at some point it'll break out towards the year end, especially if there is a signed deal with China, and then we will see a bigger move. This is the bullish scenario, of course. Semiconductors continue to be the price leaders of this market, and despite being so extended, they are consolidating mostly through time, so going sideways instead of pulling back, which is a sign of strength. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some sideways consolidation in SMH, which is the semiconductor ETF, until it's rising, 20 and 50-day moving average kind of catch up with the price advance. And and NVIDIA, I think, reports this week. It is setting up well. That doesn't mean that we know how the market will react, but so far, market reaction has been predominantly favorable, even to earnings reports that were not great in that sector. And we saw that with Qualcomm. I think we talked about it last week. Decent report, as you can see, only 10% earnings surprise, but their numbers are not really great. 12% decline in earnings growth, 70% decline in sales growth. But these numbers, they look at the past, and the market tries to be.
Exactly. I mean, semiconductors, when it looks like they can't, when the earnings are great, they crash. And when, it's just hard, it's just a hard sector for regular investors, very, very cyclical. But that, like you said, it's bullish. So what, and you were talking about biotech. You were talking about biotech.
Yes, so we'll move to biotech in a second. So even Google, I mean, they missed estimates. And as you can see, the market reacted favorably. A pullback to their rising 20-day and then new all-time high. The stock is incredibly strong on multiple time frames. I think Amazon is the only.
It moved into my top 5 positions. It's part of my 8 to 80, and I don't know. I mean, the stock, I think it's just under-owned relative to all the other FANG stocks for good reasons, right? Like it's kind of like a screwed up cap table structure in terms of they have full control of that company. But Google's just, I think it just wants to go higher. Like you said, price action's perfect.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, very bullish for sure.
yeah, it
And
reminds me of JP Morgan. Like when I didn't think the banks would break out. And if you look at JP Morgan, I think Alphabet, I think Google's going to do what JP Morgan did. I think it's going to run for a little bit. If the market doesn't pull back hard, I think I think it could pull a JP Morgan and run 10%.
at this point, it seems all depends on on signing that deal with China. I think because anything else is, I mean, you have it's bullish for the market. We have a strong economy. We have super low interest rates, accommodative Fed, central banks around the world are cutting, and we also have quite a few money managers underperforming year to date, which means that they will try to save the year and kind of chase in the
I mean, you
remaining.
can't say this. The S&P crushed everybody this year.
Again, most likely, most likely.
Yeah,
But
it's just
many managers will try nevertheless, and we
yeah.
might see some big moves in momentum stocks because momentum is finally starting to work well again. We're starting to see breakouts that are following through and very simple
And what
swing.
sector looks getting other than semiconductors, Ivan? What looks good? I think biotech.
Biotech for 2 Fridays in a row. There's been a major move in biotech. This was that breakout was last Friday, and a slight low volume pullback, and then this Friday. So 2 Fridays in a row, significant moves in biotech. There's so many breakouts, like major breakouts in the sector, and quite a few new leaders. This one, I think it's Chinese biotech. Look at this breakout, tight range flag, and then another breakout. I had a position in this one, but I saw it on Friday by mistake because someone tweeted that they might have accounting irregularities, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna sell this because I kind of own it for clients too.
China, it goes hand in hand. But yeah, Amgen, I think in the U.S., which I'm long a little bit.
Yes. Let's open Amgen. Yeah, I mean, beautiful price action, breakout, tight range consolidation.
Pull up a monthly Ivan of Amgen.
Another breakout. So yeah, it's even the large cap biotechs are.
I mean, look at that. Well. I mean, you wouldn't know that they're. I mean, that's as bullish. Forgetting it's a mature company and the numbers aren't. I mean, obviously, it's not a growth company, but either is JP Morgan really, and either is Google in the terms of a high PE stock. But I mean, I think like we're seeing is this rotation into brands that people kind of trust with interest rates at zero and software out of favor in a way, and half the FANG kind of out of favor. Biotech, with interest rates, people are speculating. So it's a risk-on world, right? China right now, biotech, semiconductors. It's not worth talking about politics or anything because the price action's so good. You just have to kind of be long here. And when summer, paid to be cautious in the summer, but seasonally also, Ivan, it's a good time of the year when the markets are strong like this.
Yes, exactly. And there are good setups in biotech, not only near the 52-week.
Yeah, go ahead. You had some other ideas. What were some?
Near the 52-week high list, but also, far below it. I mean, for example, Alexan, even though it's below its 200-day, it's kind of setting up here as well. BIIB, it also doesn't look that bad. I mean, of course, these are swing trades. These are not really long-term. As they mentioned.
Yeah, I'm looking for trends. Oh, Mertex. Okay. Yeah, it looks great. What does it look like on a weekly Mertex?
Let's take a look. So this is how it looks. I mean, it was a $3 stock a year and a half ago.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
And as I said, there's so many biotech stocks. They're looking good, and the same is true for Chinese stocks. And it's very interesting how Alibaba initially everyone thought, oh, that's a false breakout. Their earnings, and then last week they went up every single day. So it seems people are putting new money to work into China, and the most comfortable name is Alibaba since it's the biggest company. Because last week That was a look at all those huge volume bars. I mean, that's a clear accumulation.
Well, I think, it's kind of like Tencent has been an underperformer, and I finally added a little Baba and Amgen. I mean, I don't have any inside kind of feel for these companies, so it's harder for me, but
keep in mind that many Chinese stocks report earnings this week, and
okay.
we don't know how the market will react, but at this point, I think the market cares more about signing the deal than their earnings. The earnings are usually great. They're not audited really by US accounting standards, so we don't really know what's going on. The only thing that matters is the market reaction better. I mean, report.
I'm struggling with Trans, Ivan, because my strategy is kind of software is kind of lagging right now after 5 years of outperforming. So what in our market wisdom in the 50 list, anything stand out?
There's a lot of biotech.
A lot of
biotech, semiconductors, like medical appliances. That's, for example, here's a setup that I think looks good for next week. Again, I think it's a good swing. Look at that big volume breakout, then tight range. And I think if it breaks out here, it can run towards 300. Another one is NVCR, kind of setting up here near 80. I think if it breaks out above 80, we might see like the forming of another base deal. I move towards 100 in a good market. What else?
It feels a little more speculative right now. When I see biotechs kind of on the top of the list, I always worry because, but they're not small cap biotechs. So I always kind of worry when I see biotechs as the leading sector, mainly because that means speculation is a little high, but these are more larger cap. Okay. So Keysight's kind of,
I mean, you always have the risk of, waking up one day being 50% lower, especially with the smaller caps. It's just, that's the risk. Yeah. And if you're not comfortable with that risk, you can just own the sector ETFs, IBB or XBI, which are also looking good. I mean, look at IBB. I mean, that's a beautiful setup here, like kind of setting up near 111. And XBI.
It's the wimpy biotech play. Yep.
It's kind of catching up. Okay. So, so semiconductors, keys, I think setting up, let's see. I mean, big breakout, sideways consolidation, and now it's starting to move out. So it's, as I said, quite a few.
That's probably the best looking. What is that on a weekly, Ivan?
Oh, let's go back. It's a tremendous uptrend in the past 3 years. So with the occasional shakeout, I guess.
Pretty pullbacks, yeah. 30% pullbacks. Wow.
So that was in the fourth quarter of last year when everything went out 30% or more. So,
but it was the first one to bounce back. So it pays. Listen, I think what's usual is like, it's hard to be an expert in everything, but the rotation's been phenomenal. Housing stocks too, with interest rates lower, threatening to break out.
Yeah, housing stocks have been doing well. And now that we're, of course, retailers and restaurants have been the weak link lately, but I'm thinking that now with Black Friday right around the corner, we typically see those names rally in the 2 weeks before Black Friday. So we might see a slight market rotation towards those names now that they're basically left for dead and no one is paying attention to them for a good reason, because they've been such big underperformers for the past few weeks. We might see a rotation, we might not. I mean, there are plenty of other setups in other sectors like biotech and semiconductors and others. So, but in a bull market, we should always keep an eye on the constant rotations, because most stocks eventually rise in a bull market, but they don't rise at the same time. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, you need to be a little bit more active and be willing to switch between sectors.
No, you've definitely been nailing the rotation. So congrats. All right, buddy. I think we covered it. Hope you have a great week. I'll be back on US on Monday.
All right, Howard. See you next week then.
Thanks, man.
All right, bye.